And here we go. So the tools that we are going to be using. So you can use some card, so Bristol paper or light card. White is fine. Color makes me happier. So if you have color, do use that in any size that you want. So I'm going to be working on A5 today, but if you like to work big, go bigger. If you like to work smaller, work smaller. We're going to be using some printer paper as well for the practice section. We are using masking or washi tape, but that one is optional. Pencil and eraser, and then 2 black pens in 2 different sizes. It doesn't matter what brand you're using. I'm using a Sharpie for the thicker one and a Papermate Flair size M for the thinner one. But it really doesn't matter which brand you're using, as long as you've got 2 different sizes, because that will help you fill in areas if you need a lot of color, and it's easier with a bigger pen. And if you have like some details, the thinner pen would be more helpful for that set of things. Okay, and the type of thing that we are going to be doing today is roughly things that look a little bit like this. And here are 2 more examples. So you really don't have to know how to draw for this, although we are going to be drawing the letters rather than writing them, which is why we call that modern calligraphy and modern hand lettering. But you don't have to be an illustrator. You don't have to have any kind of knowledge. As long as you can draw simple shapes like squares, triangles, hearts, and circles, you're good. Okay, so I'm going to share my desk, like change the point of view so that you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to start demoing some things that you can do. So for that, bear with me a second. Yay! Can you all see me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So I'm going to draw as big as I can, because that's something that so ways you can draw letters are, if we start with very simple stick shapes like this, so you all know how to do that. Then we can do things that are starting with this, but instead we do a thicker sticks. So we do long elongated rectangles, let's call that elongated rectangles, and you get things a bit like this. We can do the serif version, which is like the first one you start with sticks, and then the serif is essentially like those little bars that you have at the bottom of the letters. So that's something that you can use. What else can I show you? A little bit like this one, except that we are not going to close the rectangles, but using the shape. Here we go. So you can do something like this, or you can even, let's do another one. I'm gonna do that. You can even do a kind of 3D effect on that. So we start exactly the same. And then let's say I want to add a bit of shading here. And that's what I was saying earlier when I'm saying you're going to ideally test your pen on paper first, because right here, as you can see, the Sharpie has really, there you go, the Sharpie has really bled into the paper. So yeah, before you go onto your nice card or your nice paper, have a play, see how it works. If you have a spare sheet, try on the spare sheet a little bit to see how your ink reacts to the paper, because it's going to be very different depending on the ink and paper that you use. So okay, let's write some things. So for example, something like that. And you know the nice calligraphy style where you've got some thicker lines. So where you would add the thicker lines for a style like this, so you can either keep it like that, or on the line that goes down is usually where you would have pressure on the brush. So then you can do things like this. And it doesn't have to be perfect. We are really not aiming for perfection here, which is why it's really like all levels in this workshop. The main thing is just to make it look good. Essentially, is trying to aim for having the same kind of width every time that you make a line thicker. So if you try to keep it roughly the same width, then that's all you need to do, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And here you go. Some other things that we can do is, I'm going to write shorter words now because hello is quite a long one. We can do something quite like that. It's quite fun. And see, it's a bit wonky, but I don't personally mind that it's wonky because it gives it a bit of style. So let's say I'm going to do a small I, chunky I like this. And I'm going to add that. You could do, let's do another hello one. Here we go. So different things. If Anna and Beth, you could put in the chat some examples of the examples of lettering. So we've got a sheet that looks like this, which gives you examples of different typefaces that you can use as inspiration. And we've got another one that is more the, it's almost like illustrations. It's very similar to what we're doing today, where you've got different artists that have done quotes or lettering in context. So the other one, this one gives you an idea for the letters of the alphabet in different typefaces. The other one is more giving you examples of what it could look like in context and in a bit more of a composition. Okay. So now, put that away. Yeah, and you can, even if you use your handwriting as well. So for example, you could do something very simple, and just by having a different spacing of the letters, you can be as simple as that and make something quite fun. So, for example, or let's do another fun one. Do mixing a little bit the style, make it wonky, and then can do little smile. So those are examples of letters, and that you can do. Something that I wanted to show you actually was, let's take this one here. If you're going for letters that are more like this, so I mentioned how the ink can bleed into the paper, and another thing to take into account is the spacing between the lines. So I'm going to write very quickly the word high and illustrate the fact that when you're doing something with that is a bit more 3D, if that's the style you want to go for your rollout piece, making sure that you leave enough space between the two letters. So between your H and your I. If you want to make this one a bit 3D, you're going to have to leave enough space, a bit larger than what you would normally think. Is automatically, I would have personally tried to put the I, like to start it around here. But because as soon as I start doing this, I would realize that, oh, okay, yeah, my that would be a bit too close to make it a clear read, especially if afterwards it keeps bleeding a bit. So quick, right. That, okay. So I've got some of this on that sheet here. There, you've got an example. So if you want to do 3D, use that as reference. That would be helpful because like I've practiced enough that I always do the same kind of 3D effect where it goes from the bottom up rather than the other way. But that's just because I've memorized roughly what it's like for every letter. So that's how I sort of know off the top of my head. But yeah, so leaving enough of a gap between the letters if you add in a bit of a 3D outline. So that's for that. So now I'm going to show you some simple shapes that you can add to your piece. So obviously anything from a circle, like squares. Squares are a bit, well, it happens. I haven't seen them often, or like elongated rectangles, but circles are quite convenient because you can turn it into a sun, you can turn it into a planet. Talking about planets, let's do some stars. So a typical star is this, but I know I've got some friends who struggle with stars. So there's lots of different ways you can do stars. So if that's a bit complicated for you and you don't want to do it too wonky, because if like me, you're a perfectionist, you can do an asterisk and that works as a star. You can do a cross, and if you add a little one there, just like, here we go, that makes it look sparkly. You can do stars or sparkles like this, like a diamond shape, or even more diamond shape if you're not comfortable with the bandy shape there. You can do stars with lots of pointy branches like this. We can do them like this as well. And let me think if I've got another star to show you. No, I think those are the main the main stars that I know of. So circle we've seen. You've got obviously like dots. So if you add some dots here, all of a sudden you have like a starry night. If you want to do like obviously we've got, I mentioned hearts, so they can be quite thin or they can be thicker. Eyes, sometimes I do add eyes to my pieces when I'm feeling like it. I like things that are a bit kind of cosmic, psychic kind of vibe sometimes. So I do eyes. Clouds as well. Clouds are fun. So you can make them super stylized like this, or you can go for a more usual shape like that, or you can do a flat bottom and some bumps, and you've got a sky, a cloud, sorry, cloud in the sky. We've got some lightning bolts that you can do as well. So there. Rainbows. So a way to do a simple rainbow with just one color is to simply do lines, and usually 3 lines, and you understand that it's a rainbow. Some botanicals. So let's do some leaves. I like to do mine quite simple. Like I like simple shapes in my style and the way I work. So I always tend to make them like super simple leaves. And that's where, for example, you could use your thinner pen. Let's use that one to add just a little bit of detail. Here we go, like this. So that's an example of a leafy thing. Then we could do, let's do a flower. So we can do simple flower. And once again, I'm going to add some details with my thinner pen, just like so. You can do budding flowers. So I would go like this. And feel free to practice at the same time. Like I'm going to stop in a second so that you can take a couple of minutes and see how you feel about all those elements. And if you have any questions or want me to show you how to draw something, absolutely fine. Please do ask. Like zigzag lines. And yeah, and then you can do tear shapes as well, which can be quite useful to make something pretty like that. And then you would have, for example, your word around here, or if I do let's do an example. Hi, and then like this. Like that, for example. So yeah, if we take a couple of, well, maybe 2-3 minutes so that you can practice your favorite shapes, look at the documents that we put in the chat box so that you can look for inspiration and already think. And then what I'm going to do after that is we're going to share with you the quotes as well, in case you don't have a phrase that you want to, that you already know you want to draw or to letter. And yeah, let's just go back to my face for now, or to our faces. Stop share. There we go. So that, do we have anything in the chat that I didn't see now? Awesome.
Yes, I've popped them all in there for everyone. Hopefully everyone can access them okay.
Yeah,
they're opening up for me.
If we give you until, so it's 3:25 at the moment. If we say 28-ish, we move on and we start preparing for the piece, the rollout piece. So okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really exciting, showing like all of this. Do you have any questions, by the way, so far, everything I've shown, or do you want me to show you anything? Is there a lettering style or something that, I don't know, you've always wondered how to do when you don't know how to do it?
I mean, if anybody else has a question, you can answer that first. But the thing I struggle or have struggled with is knowing, I always struggle with, like, when I'm trying to do 3D letters,
yeah,
like where to place it so it doesn't look wonky.
Yeah, okay, I can show you that. I'm gonna come back to sharing my screen. Here we go. So you said when doing the 3D
like
one.
3D, I feel like I'm placing it in the wrong place, or like it never looks 3D, basically.
Okay. So I'm just going to redraw my eye very quickly. So when you've got this, the first thing you want to do is you want to decide what angle you're going to show. So I showed you this angle, which is basically from the top, you're going down. So you're always going to go from the top down. So everything that you do from there, and so that you make sure, like I said, you leave enough space that it's bleeding a bit. So that way you make sure that it's always facing the same way. But if you had decided to, I don't know, to have the shadow the other way around, with this eye, for example, you say it's going to go up and it's going to be on this side, then it means that all your letters are going to have to follow this requirement. And it's just a question of like making a decision up front where the shadow is going to go. So it can be anything that you want, but you just have to make sure you stick with it for all the letters. And that's why I still do it sometimes, because there are letters like S's, C's, G's are a bit more complicated. So I always make sure that when I'm doing those and I'm doing the shading part, the 3D part, I tend to have references. So that's why I was saying, like, I tend to always do them that way, so from like up, down, and to the right, because I've done it so many times now. It's just me being lazy, and it's easy to remember where to put the stuff. But yeah, like when in doubt, like use references, nothing wrong. It's not cheating. And that's actually how you learn how to draw and how to do things, by copying other things. So I hope that helps.
That does. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Now to find a quote.
Today I'm going to be working on, which one did I choose? Today is a great day. That's what I'm going to be showing you a little bit about. Which is going to look a bit like this one, which was today is a good day, but I decided it's going to be even better. It's going to be a great day. So
that's so cool.
But yeah, we've got this document called the quotes example, and that you've got in the chat, and you will be able to find lots of, you've got quotes, you've got affirmations, you've got phrases. Some of them are longer. The quotes tend to be a bit longer. So if you choose a quote, or even if your own phrasing that you've chosen is a bit longer, it's unlikely that you're going to manage to finish today, or like maybe you're going to finish today, but not during the session. And that's why at the beginning I said, if you don't feel you have to go fast, don't feel you have to finish now, like during the workshop. It's actually fine if you go like take your own time afterwards and finish it. And that's also why I'm showing you like a shorter one, because last time when we did the practice run with Beth, didn't we? Like I chose something a bit longer, and even I was struggling to sort of like finish it.
We had a great couple of hours. It was a long session of goodness. It was good.
So yeah. Does everybody have a quote or phrase or affirmation that they want to letter? Then we have like some thumbs ups in either video or chat. Thumb up to Anna, yeah, okay, thank you, awesome, cool. So let's prepare. I'm going to switch back and let's prepare our sheet that we're going to be working on the final. And there we are going to be working both on, so with that sheet for your final piece and with some scrap paper or printer paper so that you can practice. Because again, like don't expect to do it perfectly the first time. And if you might have to, the practice bit is because you might have to think about where to put the emphasis on what words or what lettering to use, because you might think, oh, I want to use that. And actually, no, that's not quite working for the space I've got. So that's where the scrap paper comes in. So I'm going to share my desk again. Here we go. So I'm going to take this. So two ways you can do this is here I've, for example, pre-taped my sheet onto a cutting mat with masking tape and or washi tape in this case. And what I've done is, I'm trying not to get too much of the shadow, is you try to find the same width for your frame on each side of your paper, and you just put like a line of washi tape or of masking tape. That's a very quick and easy way to have a sort of frame. And the idea behind that is so that when you're writing your quote or your sentence, your phrase, you're not going to go over on the paper. And then if you want to frame your wall art afterwards, it just makes it easier. Another way you can do it is if you have a ruler with you. I'm going to do that actually with this. You don't have to use a ruler, but one thing you can do is with your pencil. I'm going to use the Sharpie just because it's going to be easier for you to see, but with your pencil, you can draw very thinly some lines, and you can use a ruler for that, or you don't have to. And actually, this is quite straight. And one way to draw straight lines is, I don't know how many of you are driving, but it's a little bit like driving, where you stir, like you turn the steering wheel towards the direction you want to go to. It's the same when you're trying to draw a line. You don't look at the point of your pen or pencil. You look where you're going and you're taking your pen there. So let's do another one there. And like, yeah, I said, I'm doing it with a Sharpie for you to see, but if you do that, unless you really want like a drawn frame, which you can do it in light pencil so that you can erase it afterwards. And talking about erasing, a quick note about erasing, because I've had that problem, Beth had that problem as well. Depending on, and that's what we're saying, if you have a spare sheet of the paper you're using for your final piece, do a little bit of test with the pens that you've got, because depending on the pen, it dries more or less quickly. And it means that when you want to erase, you might smudge things. So I don't know if you can see, like, I can't really see, the quality is not like amazing enough, but like I wasn't patient enough. So when I erased the pre-trace lines that I did in pencil, I didn't wait long enough and I smudged my everything a little bit. One way to make sure that it's dry is you can use a piece of kitchen towel and just blot it a little bit. And then when you're sure that there's no ink left to dry, you can erase your pencil. So that's for the little tip. And tip number 2 is also to, once we've practiced, so I'm going to show that in a minute, but once we've practiced, we can either go straight into pen, or we can start drawing our quote there in, again, light pencil, so that it's easier to erase. You're not leaving any marks. And then go over it with your black pens. Okay, so here we go. So I was talking about practicing, and so you can make yourself some small frames or slightly bigger ones depending what you're comfortable with. Sometimes it helps to start with a small one to just roughly see where to put the elements, and then you can do a bit more, a version that is a bit more refined on a slightly bigger version. Once again, I'm going to be drawing, like, I advise you to do that in pencil just because it's easier and you can erase if there's anything that you want to change. But I'm going to do it in black pen just so that it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. So I said that I was going to letter the phrase, today is a great day. So I'm going to write that quickly, today. So at this point, I'm not yet lettering, so that's my handwriting. Today is a great day. Okay, so in that sentence, for example, I think I want to emphasize the fact that it's a great day, so great is going to be a bit bigger. Maybe today is also emphasized, and the other ones don't matter as much. So now I know that today and great are going to be maybe a bit bigger. So I'm going to have today on one line. Same at this point, I'm not choosing what fonts or what lettering style I want to use. It's more like how I'm going to look, my composition, working my composition, how I'm going to put my phrase on the sheet. So today is a maybe great, something a bit like this, great day. Yeah, see, here, for example, I realized that when I was doing it quickly, that I went quite small at the beginning, even though I said I was going to emphasize today, but I clearly was a bit shy. And great are really big, but then I had this big gap, so I felt the need of writing day a bit bigger. So now that I know that happened, I can try to be like, okay, I'm going to do today a bit bigger. That's better. Is a great. So same, I saw that I ran out of space a little bit earlier, so it's a bit more like this, and they can be kind of medium size, almost like today. So I sort of like personally the way this is going. So so now I'm going to start thinking about which fonts I want to use, and so I'm going to be referring to this, and I'm going to be referring to the other as well, the other examples that we gave you in the chat. So I'm going to give you sorry, stop sharing. What time is it? Yeah, if I give you all like maybe 5 minutes to play with like what emphasis you're going to have on which words and how you're going to place them on your sheet, and then if you want to start practicing as well some letters. And again, I'm happy to take questions if you're not sure what word to emphasize or how to place the words on your sheet, like on your practice sheet. Let me know. I'm going to play a little bit. There's my practice. There we go. I'm going to share my screen again, my desk. How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm just like trying to play around with placements to see what else comes through.
Well, you are phrasing, like lettering today?
I'm doing the phrase which I always say, which is not my circus, not my monkeys.
Nice. I like that.
Thank you.
Who else wants to share what they are lettering today?
Renisha's doing good. I'm doing Rise and Shine. She's doing Rise and Shine, Sleepyhead.
Nice.
Aww.
I like that.
I'm doing the same one that Camille's doing with the Today is a Good Day.
Ah, yeah.
Love that.
That's, you know what? I like that one because it's simple, but it's a good reminder, you know, to have that on your wall, because sometimes you just don't want to get up. That's happened to me a lot recently. Sort of like, oh no, I can't face the day. And so reminding yourself that today is going to be a good day. It is a good day.
Renisha said that her sister is going to do one of her name, which I think is really cute.
That's so cute.
That's lovely. And that's the thing, because once you start playing with those, you can obviously do affirmations, you can do names, you can do like name cards, lots of things. They look cool on like in nurseries, like baby rooms, kids rooms, on the door for the rooms, things like that. I used to have that one of you know that sign in Shrek, the sign that he paints with his like ogre face and keep out.
Yes.
I made that when I was younger, and I had that on my door.
Oh, I
So cute.
love. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, completely.
I'm going to get carried away and just have one on every single wall of my house.
Maybe you can have one for each room, you know, like having an intention, setting an intention for the room or for the day.
I love that.
I love that. Absolutely love that.
Let's
Oh,
see.
we've got a question for you, Camille.
Yep.
Ah, there you go. So how would I do the S in the same style as the M?
When you say the M, are you talking about the M that I was just drawing by any chance? How do I do the S? Yes, okay. So just gonna share. Yeah, if we're talking about this M here, so you see I've taken, did I take from here or not? No, went a bit like, okay. So the closest one would be to use this set of lettering. No, so I was doing my own thing there, just riffing off. So you would start by doing your S like this. Then you would probably add the serifs, and then because it's an S, let's see, I think we would make this part in the middle thicker. So you would do this like that. There you go.
Does that make sense? Is that all right, Renisha? Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Does anybody else need a tip about any kind of like how to draw something, how to letter something? You're very welcome.
I was going to mention something, a process that we've done in school. I don't know if you've seen it before, but because the expectations for our projects is to be very clean with our type. And
Okay.
so what my professor has us do is we will print out whatever font we're looking into, and then in whatever size we need it to be, and then we'll put a charcoal pencil on the back, and then we'll transfer it to our paper. So it's more like tracing than anything, but if you want something really clean, I know
That's a very good tip, Karen. Thanks for sharing. Yes, I've heard about that tip before, and it really helps. And actually something that, because in this workshop, we're not trying to go perfect, but if you want to get more precision, that's a very good tip. And another one that you can do as well is do lines of, so either you take the font that you like and you try to repeat the letter and print it in a way that is quite light, and you trace over it. You can use tracing paper to trace the other letters, or do like lines and lines. So you can start by tracing, and then your hand and your brain gets used to the letter and the shape, and then you can sort of like do it like from just looking without tracing it directly. So thank you very much for sharing. That's an awesome tip. Cool. I'm still amazed that you joined from the US, honestly.
Yeah, same.
What time is it for you?
Right now, let me see. It's 8:43, so in the morning.
Wow.
You're
That's
amazing.
Yeah, so it's for school, like I was mentioning. So it's we have to find what we call industry events. So anything surrounding art, any event something craft or learning about art, anything like that. So we attend it, and then I do have to do this little write-up about what we learned and different things like that. So most of the events I've been attending are virtual. And so, yeah, I just found this one on Eventbrite. And so I think I saw that Camille was from the UK, but other than that, I didn't know anything. But most of the events I go to have about 200 people on it, so I wasn't expecting to like actually turn my camera on and everything. But I don't mind doing that. So I was like, oh, small
Amazing.
little group.
Thank you. But that's a cool project, like going to different events and seeing what happens and what's what tips you can get from them and all that. That's really cool. I like that.
There's if you need to do any more events, the whole like cultural exchanges festival, there's like some other talks and stuff that may be useful. We're actually part of the Fringe stuff, Beth and I. We've got a documentary like live stream on Friday that's speaking about like young artists and like their like from graduating and then like what happens next in their relationship of what they're doing, which might be useful.
Awesome, thank you.
No worries, you'll be able to find it on the Eventbrite.
I said that we've got a request for how do I draw a bird. Okay, so how do I draw a bird? Let's share.
Or you've got many different ways to show us, Camille.
Ooh, yeah, I'm going to try to, because like I don't have any reference, so it's going to be like off the top of my head. So how to draw a bird. So I tend to start with the beak, and then I would probably do a shape a little bit like this. And you can have a wing here, or you can even close the wing, like a tear shape, color it. Really depends what sort of bird you want. So that's one way. You can add little legs if you want. Another way to draw a bird could be to start like this, and then like that, and I will just close it like this. You can add the other wing here and do again an eye, big or small. When I was showing the eyes earlier, something that I drew some weird birds sometimes when I do what I call meditative illustration, where I draw in ink, India ink with brush, and I start with an eye, like a human looking eye almost, and then I add a beak, and I do this really like weird kind of bird like this.
That's so cute.
I love it. That's brilliant.
So how else could you?
Are there any ways, like maybe ones that are smaller for gaps in between words and stuff?
Yeah. So for that, like obviously I'm drawing really big, so you could do the same thing with a thinner, like obviously smaller and with a thinner pen, and the thinner pen would help you make it smaller for the gaps. But let's say we've got, I don't know, I'm going to write something quickly so that I can close a gap. Today, I'm happy. Don't know. The things you say.
That's a great one.
And let's say we want birds here and there. Actually, I think in one of the references, like I don't have in front of me, so I'm going to have to remember. But in the references, the examples in context, there's a quote actually that I lettered, and it's got birds on it, so you can use that as reference. But here, what I would do is like I'm going to have to draw with the small one. Yeah, I would probably go with something like simple like that, I think, with the space I've got here. And I think that works here because they are quite small, but you can make them obviously more dove-like. I think the ones in the quote that I was mentioning are more dove-like. You just take a look so that I can give you an example. I just need a second. Stop share. How did I do them? Okay, I did it like that. All right, so. Okay. So the other one that I did was a bit more like this. So I'll put that. It was like this. And I had, it was a bit like this, I think. and you can add some tiny details to make them a bit more interesting. And because when you've got like big shapes that are blank, sometimes adding little things like little dots or little lines like this, it just helps giving a bit of like dressing it up a little bit. Let's see how we're doing with time. Stop share. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes until the end of the workshop. So if now we start moving on to the final one, or you can keep practicing depending what you feel comfortable, but I'm going to start moving towards the finish so that I can show you other ways I letter things. You can just watch, or you can keep practicing and look at the same time. It's fine, whichever way works for you. So today is, and I'm going to say, a great day. So one thing that I like doing as well, and I didn't mention before, is using different typefaces or different fonts for different parts of the quote. Obviously, you absolutely don't have to do that. Depends what you're lettering. It's a question of preference as well. But I quite like it because I get bored easily, and so it means that it gives me more variety to work with. So today is so here, for example, I went for like stick, and I'm doing some serifs for the middle. Here is a great. What is everybody else doing after this?
I'm probably gonna finish this. I feel like I'm like in the zone, but I have got work to do. But it's a lovely break.
Yeah, that's a nice, like, and that's the thing that I like with that as well. You can just like either put a podcast on, listen to an audio or like some music, and just let yourself go with that.
I'm just mesmerized watching you, to be honest. I feel very relaxed watching you write letters.
How long have you been doing like lettering for?
Apart from the Shrek stuff, probably for as long as I've been an illustrator. So that's been a professional illustrator, has been 8 years.
Oh wow.
So here, for example, like, see, I drew this like that, but because it's also like the same line weight, I'm deciding I'm going to make the grate a bit thicker so that, you know, it stands out a bit more. So I'm just going over my lines and making them thicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, and lettering, the thing is, it started more like as a hobby. Like, so I'm an illustrator, and I was illustrating more than anything, but because sometimes for like book illustration, you have to letter and I think that's pretty much how it started, like lettering greeting cards and book covers. And then it's been a question of like finding what I like. So I had a phase when I was very much like modern calligraphy, so that's all this, which is a bit like calligraphy, but it does not necessarily follow all the rules of traditional calligraphy.
Right.
I was very into that around like 2015, 16, like around those years. And then I discovered that guy, Mike Lowry, was an illustrator as well. And his lettering is so fun. So I started sort of like copying him, obviously not for clients, but to practice, because one of the big secret, that is not really a secret of illustrators, is that we copy each other to learn techniques or bits that we like, and then we transform it so that we are not just copying somebody else, but we are making it our own. So doing the same with lettering, like finding letters that I like, sometimes on packaging actually. So when you go to the grocery shopping, or there's some really cool stuff out there. So like taking photos, I've got so many screenshots and photos on my phone of lettering that I like, and I'm like, oh, maybe one day I'd like to use that in a project.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess that's how it started.
that's so cool. I love knowing how like people find their thing. I find it really fun.
So I'm just gonna check that we don't have anything in I'm not ignoring anybody in the chat. Cool, just sharing again. Okay.
Don't worry about that. I've got my eye on the chat.
Oh, thank you very much, Beth.
That's all right. Is everyone okay? How is everyone getting on? Karina's nodding. That's good. I like that.
I just decided to kind of mess around with just words that are in front of me. So I did this one, obviously very.
Wait, I'm just gonna, there you go. We can see you. That's really cool.
That's so cute.
You have to send that to us. That's
Yeah, you have to send it. Do you have Instagram?
I do, yes.
If you go on to, it's _Studio Fig _ send it to us and we can post it on the cultural exchanges.
I would share that as well. That's so amazing. Well done.
Yeah, I'll post it on the story and we can tag it.
That's really cool. Anybody else wants to share what they've got so far?
Mine's taped onto the table, but I'll share it in a second.
That's the thing when you're using tape.
Yeah. Well, I've not done too much, but like I normally, whenever I like am drawing or writing stuff, I'm really quick. Like I'm because I'm just like blah, 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 done. But because this is like not how I normally write or draw, it's really nice to like carve out something totally new.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's basically between drawing and writing.
Yeah.
So you don't have to know how to draw to do that kind of thing, which is great because I feel like it's very accessible, very approachable for everybody. But at the same time, it does require a bit more care than if you were just writing words like in your normal handwriting.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, unless you're somebody who's super, super careful, but.
How do you do a Y in the serif font?
A Y?
Like a capital?
Yeah.
Like where do I put the little thingy?
Bear with me one sec.
No worries, sorry.
No worries. Here it goes. So the serif, you said?
Yeah.
So that would be your Y. And then I add them.
Oh, cool. I was really overcomplicating it. Thank you.
But then it depends on the serif fonts, because some of them, and that's why, you know, like you've probably seen some as well that are, you've got like, you can have like a really thin there, and then you would have like a thick one on the other side.
Yes.
Like stuff like that, for example. So really depends.
So many ways to write letters. You never would have thought about it until someone tells you.
But I'm telling you, you're going to start noticing things more, and then looking at letters. Especially if you enjoy doing that and you want to do some more of it. You know, that they make great birthday and Christmas presents. Like if you like to do homemade stuff, you know,
yeah,
and frame them. And
if you find me in supermarkets just staring at packaging and looking at the letters, I'm just going to be there like, wow.
But that's welcome to my life. That's like take twice as long in shops. Especially that was especially true when I arrived in the UK, because in the UK you've got amazing packaging in terms of design. Compared to France, because I'm French, and compared to France, I'm not very familiar with other countries, but I know that everything was so, I don't know, so creative, so fresh, so enticing, that I used to spend like hours in the supermarket just taking photos and saving all the rubbish as well afterwards. You know, like I would eat something, and instead of throwing or recycling my packet of something, and like for a while I ended up having all those wrappings and packaging and things. After a while, you know, I moved flats and I was like, okay, I really need to get rid of that. Take photos.
Yeah.
Because I was like hoarding like a crazy lady.
I keep hold of, like whenever I go on holiday or something, I always end up keeping like the wrappers or like the tickets and stuff, because I just love how they look.
I do that too. And it's like memories that you will never look at again.
Oh, of course not.
But, you know,
But you can never get rid of.
you will maybe find them the next time you move places, and just like, oh, what was going on?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Given this star is a bit wonky, but I don't mind.
Oh, we love a bit of wonkiness, it's fine.
But that's why I was saying at the beginning, it's really not like, I do have a tendency also to want things to look like really good or like near perfect. But actually, sometimes when you let go of perfection, things can be, you can have like some really happy accidents or like really fun things happening.
I agree.
That's a good quote. I need that for a piece of wall art, I think, Camille.
Let the little accidents happen.
Yes.
I used to have that brand called Accidentally on Purpose.
Oh, I love that.
That's well fun.
I don't know if I cheated with the color, but I was messing around with this one initially.
Wait, I'm gonna stop sharing so you can show us.
Okay.
Go on.
Is it going?
Oh, that's so cute. I love the colour.
There.
Oh.
That's so fun. It's nice because it's like the colours are like a rainy day, but it says it's a good day and it's really nice.
It's a good day. It's like blue sky behind the sky, behind the clouds.
Yeah.
I love that. And for everyone in here making something, you know, we'd love to see what you've come up with when you're finished. No rush. So yeah, share it with us either on the Cultural Exchanges Instagram or, as Anna said earlier, _Studio Fig _.
Tag me as well at Camille's
Yeah.
Man.
Yes. Camille's Instagram is in the chat a bit further up. So share it with all of us because we'd love to see them.
Do you want me to take a picture of it and then like direct message all of you?
Yeah.
Whichever way works for you, but that's awesome. Where can I find the different calligraphy? Do you mean this sheet? Just one sec. Do you mean this sheet? Or do you mean in general?
She said that sheet. So that sheet's in the chat just a bit further up.
It's called, I think this one is called Lettering Inspiration.
If you can't see it, let me know and I'll repop it in there for you.
Can't see it.
Okay, no worries. I'll pop it back in. The Lettering Inspiration. There we go. It's just sent. Can you see that one now?
Gotta be the delay in the, just fine. That happens.
Yeah.
Also, I've just, no, it's still not, okay. Maybe we can send it to you. Is there a way we can send it afterwards to the participants or not?
Yeah, we've got, if you're happy with us sending an email to you, we can send it to you to whatever email address you signed up to the event on. We can, pardon me, send it through to there.
It's all right. And just like that, I realized, yes, please. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, we'll do that then. We'll make sure we send an email to the participants afterwards.
Yeah.
Fab.
I'll attach.
Just like that, I realized it's 4 o'clock.
I know. Guys, when you're having good fun, that's why.
I'll take mine off.
I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have any questions, like last minute questions, let me know and I can demo anything that's saying you wonder how to work around or how to draw. Otherwise, you can always message me on Instagram. Might not give you like a straight away reply, but I will as soon as I can.
Thank you so much for hosting this. It's been so lovely. It really has gone so fast and I feel so relaxed, which I think is lovely to have as part of festival program, and thanks to those who have attended the first fringe aspect of cultural exchanges, but also the 21st year of cultural exchanges. I'm going to decorate my room with this. Oh, that is amazing. Awesome. Yeah, please do keep in contact with us. We've got your email addresses, so we'll send through the stuff, but I'm sure Camille would love to see what it is that you get up to, whether you message it to them or post it on your stories on social media and tag her, or anything. We would love to see what you're doing.
Love to share back, to show everybody else what you did.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 people writing little article report review things on this event. Which
oh my goodness, make sure you share them with us afterwards. Like, I don't know how it works with your school project, but we'd love to see it and share it. RN2, you've got a whole fan club in Leicester in England now.
Oh, having like a place to crash, come visit, you need a place to crash.
Yeah. You should come with a suitcase full of hand-lettered goods. Oh, amazing. Yeah, does anybody have any last minute things they'd like to go through with Camille?
I didn't have a art question, but I was curious though. So where are you all from?
So I'm from France, and 12 years ago I decided to change, like jump ship and just go to a different country, and I came to the UK, to England.
Okay, gotcha.
And I live in the smallest county in England called Rutland. It's tiny. We didn't have a McDonald's until last year. We were the only county in England that didn't have a McDonald's. So I lived there, but I used to live in Leicester. So me and Beth went to university in Leicester, which is in the Midlands, so like smack bam in the middle of England, about an hour and a half up from London. But yeah, I think us 3 are from the Midlands in England, but I don't know where other people are from.
If you want to share, obviously, like where you're from.
I go to uni in Leicester. Do you go to DMU or Uni of, but from London? So there's 2 universities in Leicester. There's the Montfort University, which is where me, Beth, and Renatia, I may be saying your name wrong, I'm sorry, I go to. Oh my gosh, Michigan. Oh my gosh.
We're so honoured.
Amazing. Awesome. Oh, this is why I love online events. What I might do actually is, if you're all comfortable with it, I might send like a little feedback form to your email addresses, just to kind of fill out like where you're from, how you found us and stuff, because it's really interesting to see, because normally it's only people from Leicester when it's in person.
I was expecting only people from Leicester, or potentially a bit further away in the UK, but I wasn't expecting it to be an international event.
Michigan. Oh my goodness. Well, you two, the 2 Americans, you should, I'm sure you're probably really far away, but it would be fun to have like a lettering club that started from this over in the States. That'd be so cool. Awesome.
Cool. Well, again, thanks to Camille for hosting the workshop. This has been a really fun event. Thanks everyone for attending. Can't wait to see what you've made. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day, everyone.
And follow Camille and us on Instagram.
Yeah, follow everybody on Instagram.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.